I added one row to Airtable. I didn't open Claude code. I didn't run any scripts. The pipeline saw the event. It enriched the brief. It created copy in 5 different tonalities, generated AI images, created a publishable Wix website, as well as created all sorts of social media posts ready to go. And the best thing is, we set it up with a dashboard that can track all of this in real time. This is zero-touch marketing, not exactly zero-touch coding. I built this across many videos, but yeah, from today forward, the marketing should be running itself. So let me show you how I close the loop. So in video 1, I was the manager. I approved every step in Claude code. Video 2, Ralph automated the building. I still had to run Ralph, of course, but today we're going to make it so that there's no command, there's no trigger. The system basically watches Airtable and fires on its own. That's what I mean by zero touch. So instead of having to babysit the code or to babysit the Ralph loop, there is no babysitting. Right now, it's just going to be fully automated and autonomous, and the pipeline will try to babysit itself. So from today forward, when I or anyone in my team adds an event to Airtable, the campaign can build itself. Quick recap here. You can see that the last feature we built, which is feature 8, has now passed to true in the progress.txt. And you can also see here in the progress.txt that the feature 8 has been updated there. But there's still a gap here. I still have to manually trigger the pipeline, and someone still has to run the command or a script for this to work. Second, there's no real visual feedback here. The pipeline runs, but I can't really see anything running. There's no status, no metrics, no dashboard or anything like that. I would love to be able to build that in. So we have 2 features left. Feature 9, which is the Airtable webhook trigger. This is what's going to make the whole marketing zero touch. And then we have the dashboard UI, which is just going to beautify it and make it so that we can use this as like a standalone app. These 2 features, though, are completely different approaches. The webhook is pure backend, zero UI, no need for human review. But the dashboard is pure front end, and that's all UI, all up to taste, all up to human taste. These types of different problems need different types of ways to deal with them and different thread types. Right now, back end just needs tests, and the front end needs to have eyes to test it. So in the previous videos, we were just using PyTest and MyPy to be able to test if everything was working correctly, as well as having all the Docker containers come up and healthy. That could help us validate its own work. But the dashboard, the output is visual, so AI can't really tell if the layout is broken just by reading the HTML. It needs to have some sort of feedback loop and some sort of way to see the page. We could see feature 10 as like a F thread, a fusion thread where multiple agents design the dashboard, and then we take the best elements of each, either 2 or 3 times, and then just merge them all together. When someone adds an event to our Airtable base, basically we want the pipeline to trigger automatically with no command and no human needed. The idea is to have the marketing so locked in that there's no manual content creation. And ideally, we would want the webhook and the pipeline to run without any human interaction. So I want you to read claude.md and the prd.json and the progress.txt before you build feature 9, the Airtable webhook trigger. This is a lightweight service or an extension to the orchestrator that should add a post webhook endpoint to the orchestrator. It should validate incoming data from the Airtable. It should trigger the entire orchestration pipeline automatically, and it should update the Airtable record with the pipeline status when it's complete. So if you could implement this in the orchestrator as additional endpoints and then run the MyPy and PyTests when done. Do not touch any other services. And then we'll send that off. Now you can see it is reading the test file and the Airtable shared clients, reading more files. All right, so it says it has everything it needs. It's going to give us the plan, and then it's going to start writing to services orchestrator, and then it's going to run those tests. Awesome. You can see it's just going off by itself now. And now it's adding the webhook endpoints. And now we've hit our first compact of the conversation. So we'll wait out for that, and we'll see you when it's back. So while we're waiting for that to compact, I just want to say that these services are running right now on my local host, and Airtable is on the internet, so they can't really talk to each other directly. So I'm going to need to use something called ngrok, which creates a tunnel between the two. Basically, it's a public URL that is forwarded to my laptop, and then for production, this would probably be a real server. But for today, this lets me demo the full loop. So you can ask Claude how you could do this, how you can install ngrok for your own. You probably want to set it up on your own server, but for this case, you basically just go brew install ngrok, and then you create your account, you get your authentication key, and then you just HTTP into 8000 to see if everything's working. And now back to Claude. We can see that feature 9 has been completed. The tests are clean, 12 out of 12 passing, and exactly what was built. So yeah, that should be good enough to move forward with building up Airtable. So here I am in my Airtable, the GGC marketing pipeline, the Good Girls Club marketing pipeline. We'll go into automations. We add a trigger when a record is created. We want to select the table, which is the events table. Right now, you can see here, it's the events table. Oh, yeah. It tests the step, and you can see here that we already have these two events sitting there, so it works. So this trigger is really simple. Basically, when anything enters that table, it is going to fire off an automation. So now we go to use advanced logic, and instead of firing off automation, it's run script, and we'll go inside of that script, and I will copy and paste what Claude had told me that I can use for this automation. Can you give me the full Airtable script that I need to paste? So basically what I did was I used Claude to tell me exactly what are the outputs that I need to sync this with my orchestrator, as well as tell it what is actually in my table, like what are the actual columns and stuff like that. And it gave me out a piece of code like this. Now what we need to do is we need to change the input to record ID. And we want to make sure that it is the Airtable record ID as an input. And then it's going to build out that payload. It's going to send it out to our orchestrator. Okay, and one important aspect here is that you can see that we want the pipeline URL. The ngrok URL goes here. We want it to be the one that we've created. So this is the URL that we're going to use over here. Basically, we're going to take this and we're going to put it in here. Finish editing. That should be good to go. Now what we want to do is we want to test this step with one of the existing records. And there you go. HTTP request at 10:15. Now, since we were getting a 404 not found, I asked Claude how to fix that. And I'll basically just copy and paste what it told me to. So you can also see that it says fixed testing error. Basically, my script threw an error. I can see the execution log. And what I want to do is just copy and paste all this, put it into Claude, and get it to tell me what went wrong and try to fix it. All right, so we just tested the automation again, and everything was successful. You can see now also in Ghost in the terminal that everything is fine now. Awesome. Test this is turn on the automation. Go in here or create a new event. So just a quick change to firing off that webhook. What we want it to do is basically fire when we've already filled out all of the information. Right now it's firing as soon as any information is going in. So what we're gonna want to do is actually use a status field and just say, and then in the automations, we'll just say, instead of when a record is created, when a record matches conditions, events, select the table events, add a condition when the status is create. And then now that should fire off the automation.
Awesome.
So now we're running another test after switching this to create. You can see here, it is in progress. You can see here that while it is working, it is starting to pull in the output made from the bot. Now we gotta wait a little bit for the images, and then yeah, it will create the HTML and stuff like that. So basically this is the part of the build where you would want to go back and forth with Claude Code and tell it exactly what you want. Tell it exactly how you want your content to be created. You could even upload the sales calls or any content that you've created. You could upload images that it could reference, all sorts of stuff like that. It could upload offers that you have, you know, basically sky's the limit here. Just have a long conversation with Claude Code about exactly what you want your product to have, both input wise and output wise. After messing around with it for a little bit, I think we've got what we wanted. So basically I'll just go in. Can you create a dummy row in the Airtable with dummy data? I'll set the status to create myself. Here it's asking me if I want to create that row. I go back to the Airtable. It has created me that row. And this is all possible because we set up the Airtable MCP in the very beginning, first video. And I'll just hit create, go off to automations, or we can also check the terminal. Yep, looks like it's okay. There you go. The copy was written and formatted. It's been added. And now we can wait a bit for the images. Images have been generated. And now we got the formatting. And here you can see under images, we have a little thumbnail. And you can see that. All right. So feature 9 was pure backend, but now we're looking at feature 10. And feature 10 is completely the opposite. It's a dashboard. We want to have charts, status indicators, pipeline visualization, and the output is supposed to be visual, which kind of breaks everything that we've been working on so far. Because in this way, the AI can't validate its own work by reading text. It needs to see it, right? First, we build the code. We can do all the tests. We'll be able to automatically screenshot the web pages. Ralph will evaluate it by itself, then it can fix it and then commit the changes. So this whole step of having a screenshot in between is kind of like the difference between having functional code and a real product. So in the setup, I basically got Claude Code to research the best 3 browser tools so that we can build a nice front end. So I'll link at the bottom of the video how to get this dev browser repo set up. And basically you can ask Claude Code to create the skill for you. And this is in my global Claude Code skill so that you can use it at any point. The great thing about this is it's not an MCP service, so it is a skill. It installs into a folder and Claude Code will automatically know how to use it. This allows you to transfer it between projects, and it's just simpler, cheaper, and you can use it a lot more easily. Now we're going to start building out feature 10, the dashboard. And I'm going to be using a pattern we haven't used yet, which is a F thread. It is basically going to spin up 3 different agents and fuse the best of the output of those 3 agents into one. In this sense, my design reference is my own website. The AI is going to screenshot it, extract the design language, and then apply the changes it needs to make to the dashboard live. Now I'm just going to copy and paste the prompt that Claude has given me to get it to go to my main website, take screenshots of it in different breakpoints, and extract the design. So if you want to see what that prompt looks like, it's right here. So I navigated to the website. It opened it 3 times in different breakpoints, and it took screenshots. Now, as an extra layer, I can actually get it to read the code of my website too, because I have access to that. And I'll just paste the prompt that Claude gave me to be able to do that. This will allow it to have a much deeper understanding of how things were built, so it can influence the dashboard that we're trying to create through the Airtable. Now what we want to do is we want to spin up 2 or 3 different agents and have them fuse together their outputs. And I'll show you how we do that. So the way that I set this up is to have one agent do it minimally, one agent with data rich based, and one visually card based, so that we can try to make the best out of 3 different worlds and then integrate them all together at the end of the day. So 3 agents, 3 directions, all integrated with the gist-ai.com dashboard. So there you have it. 3 agents, 3 design directions, all fed with the code of my website, gist-ai.com, as well as the screenshots. So everything is coming from the same source, and they're all going to create the best of different worlds. One being minimal, one being data rich, and one being more visual. Now it's launching the browser and taking those screenshots. So you can see here, we have our first one, minimal, our GEC pipeline analytics like this, and then the more visual one looking like this.
I can do that.
Attempt 1, attempt 2, attempt 3. So I quite like from the minimal one, the pipeline log here. This is pretty nice too, showing the recent campaigns. This is cool too if we're talking about the volume and how many campaigns, just so that we can get a quick bird's eye view of what's going on, as well as the platform breakdown. That's quite nice. This also shows the pipeline runs. Service health is also nice to have, but I believe that it would be nicer from the 3rd attempt. This is a little too much for me, these cards over here. This header is quite nice. That just shows how many campaigns that we've built per month. And then the today's output. So I'll probably try to create a prompt real quick that puts all of those together. And we can do it like that. You can now see that the coder sub-agent is building the final fuse dashboard, helping us once again protect our context window here. Here we go. It says that the dashboard is built, and now it's going to screenshot all 3 of the breakpoints. And you can see it spinning up Chrome to take those screenshots now. Here we go. It's starting to take those screenshots at all 3 different breakpoints.
Awesome.
And it can show me now the screenshots here. So now that it captured all 3, it's going to review them.
Work.
And it looks like all 3 breakpoints are clean. Awesome. So if we wanted to test this, we'd go to our dashboard and we'd serve the code on server on port 8080. Now when we click into it, and when we go to host 8080, you can see it is live now. This is all one HTML file matching my brand. In this case, I used my personal brand, and it's hitting all of those pipeline APIs that we've set up on the local host. And if I wanted this on my actual site later, I can post it into a Wix HTML embed or deploy it anywhere. But for now, I think this is proof that it works. So now that everything is connected, let's run this thing for real. Generate a test row in Airtable. There you go. It's going to use the Airtable MCP to create that record again. It's going to create. Now it's working. It's enriching. So yeah, now just as proof that this is all working, we have all the campaigns here that we have run already, the amount of images created, how many services are online. We have the pipeline log showing the correct information. And when we actually click into the course, we have those everything that's in the Airtable as well as the images that were generated. You can see that everything matches what is in our actual Airtable.
Yeah, looking good.
So yeah, just to break this down again, in video 1, I said I was a tool call. I manually created a bunch of content for the year. Right now, I just watch content generate for itself in the Airtable row. And we have the whole dashboard picking that up too. And that's my entire year of marketing content automated. And the best thing about this is that it has real business in that. This isn't just like a portfolio project. It is a dashboard that's hitting real APIs. The content is for real things. And the marketing campaigns can start as soon as we add events to the Airtable. So just to recap, that was 3 videos, 10 features, 6 different thread types. We use B threads, C threads, P threads, L threads. I built 2 services with sub agents using B threads and C threads. I built 4 services with Ralph using a for loop. Those were parallel threads and base threads again. And then in this video, we showed fusion thread. The webhook on Airtable makes it self-triggering. The dashboard gives it a face, and I don't have to micromanage it. So yeah, that's my approach to zero-touch marketing from this day forward. If a team member adds any event to the Airtable, it will create the entire marketing campaign for it straight away. Copyrights itself, images generate themselves, and we could easily push these 10 features into hundreds of features if we wanted to, right? That's the goal. So the whole art is going from approving everything to approving nothing, and then to having nothing to approve, where we fully interact with Claude Code to not having to touch any of it at all. So the series comes down to having a clear spec, focused agents, and automated validation. And this is still the very simple version. We could add better memory to control the state instead of a prd.json if we want to have more features. We could have more agents running in parallel, or we could keep this thing running to build out hundreds of features overnight. So if you'd like to see me do something like that, just like the video, subscribe, and comment on what business processes you'd like to see automated end to end. And if you'd like me to build this out for your business, this is exactly what we do at Gist AI. Real production pipelines for real companies. Link is below, as well as any of the starter files, the Ralph starter kit, and the templates that I use to build out this project. So please comment what you would like to see built out next time, and I'll see you in the next one.